What's up guys? Now I know you're pretty excited about this video because we're starting to get into social skills and social skill building. If you want the social circle of your dreams, which means all the dating options you could possibly have, the right kind of friends, high quality people, the kind of people that will bring value to your life and you get along with them and you give value to them, that's going to come if you can go out there and approach people. And that's why we're starting this particular part of the series with how to approach. Most people, their friendships, their dating, their love life, everything around that all forms through it kind of happening to them. They wait for circumstances. Women in particular. For example, the workplace. So many relationships are formed in the workplace because you finally get a time to sit down with someone day after day and get to know them and remove your fear and your anxiety around them and talk to them and have a good reason to talk to them. Or maybe you share a hobby, which is a great place to meet people. So you have something to talk about and you feel that that gives you permission to approach them and start conversations. Well, what I like to believe in is that there shouldn't be all these limitations on your ability to socialize and to build your social circle. Fact is, you can meet anyone, anywhere, anytime, if you've got the skills and the courage, but mostly the courage. Now, in order to get the courage, it sometimes helps to build the skills. So, unlike some of the other videos in this series, this is going to be much more of a practical one on what to do. Okay? By the end of this video, I'm going to give you two kind of opening lines that you can use, and these are not pickup lines, by the way. They're more like icebreakers, things that you can revert to so that you don't have to think about what to say. One is going to be for meeting new people with the potential of friendship, and the other is going to be for approaching someone that you find attractive. Okay? One of them is going to be very low risk and easy to do, and the other one's going to be a bit more high risk, a bit more ballsy. But let's talk a little bit about approaching in general first. Now, this is something that people are absolutely terrified of doing. 99% of people that I speak to lack the ability to approach a complete stranger, or at least they think they do, in order to start up a conversation that may lead to a friendship or more. If you can master the ability to do this, you will have so many more options in your life, and you can actually decide from a place of abundance who is in your life and who is not. You can go out there and find the kind of people that you're interested in and approach them there. Let's start by talking about where you can approach people. The answer is everywhere. There is no situation in which you cannot approach someone. And I want you to really register that in, because right now you will have a number of limitations in your mind about where and when you can meet people. Myself, for example, when it comes to meeting new people, it used to be heavily restricted to either the workplace, hobbies, or somewhere where I'm drunk at a social event. Those were the three options I had for meeting people. And really the only approaches I would do would be in the workplace. Like I'd actually go and speak to somebody in the workplace. And a hobby, even drunk out on the town, I'd kind of hope to bump into someone or there'd be some reason to start a conversation. I couldn't just manufacture a conversation out of thin air. So let's talk about how you can find somebody to speak to without needing, a certain situation that you think has to happen in order to make an approach. So you're basically dealing with a whole number of different types of approaches, and the first one, the most difficult, is a cold approach. So that is where you are approaching a complete stranger and you have no excuse to approach them. So this isn't like being in your workplace where you work together, so it's an excuse to talk to someone. Or being in a hobby where you both have the same interest, so it makes sense to connect. This is about things like being in a coffee shop, walking around during the street, during the day, being in a shopping mall, even being in a bar where the other group is someone you've never met before and you've got no introduction. Regardless of the situation, what's most important is that you do not apologize for your approach in any way, shape or form. I cannot emphasize enough how important that is. If you want to avoid creeping someone out or making them wonder why you're talking to them or any of that kind of stuff, the best thing that you can do is be totally shameless about your approach. You need to understand that you are bringing something to their lives, something good to their lives by approaching them. Because here's the thing, they're just as scared as you are, right? They're like bumblebees or sharks. They're more scared of you than you are of them. I'm not so sure about sharks actually. I'd say they'd be pretty fearless about humans. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make, too many internet facts, is that actually you could be bringing a lot of good to people's lives and approaching them. And that's the mindset that's worked best for me in my life. As soon as I go to approach someone in the hope of getting something from them, that's when everything goes to hell. Because there's something desperate and needy in my body language, my frame, the words I use, the kind of aura I'm putting off has a neediness to it if I'm trying to get something from them. If I'm going up to someone going, I hope they'll like me, or I hope they'll be my friend, or I hope she gives me a phone number. These are the kind of things that I'm trying to get from them. There's a hidden agenda to my conversation and they can feel that. And you know that they can feel that because you feel that when people do that to you. When a salesman comes up to you at the door and they're like, hi, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. Part of you's just going, oh, what are you trying to get from me? Go away. And this is the response that you trigger when you approach if you're coming from a needy place. Now, if you're not coming from a needy place, if you're totally unapologetic and shameless, they will feel that. They will feel actually you're coming to give something to them. It's just like when the waiter comes to your table at a restaurant. You're not like, oh God, what does he want? You know that he's going to be providing you with food. You actually welcome the approach. And it sounds stupid, but that's actually what it's like in a social situation as well. If someone comes up to you and they're the owner of the club, right? You're in a nightclub, they're the owner of the club and you know that, and they approach your table, it's exciting. You don't think they're going to try and get something from you. You're kind of hoping that maybe you'll get a VIP table, or you get to meet someone who's this high status, whatever. This is the kind of thing that you can create just by controlling your frame, like we talked about in the identifying limiting beliefs videos and different stuff around that. So, anywhere, you can approach anywhere, and the main thing you need to be is unapologetic. Now, how do you be unapologetic, right? It's easy to say, not so easy to do. The simple trick that I put into my head just before I make an approach on a stranger is I think, how can I serve this person? Right? Well, what I actually think in terms of words is, I'm going to make this person's day. Right? So I go in there with the intention of giving rather than receiving. And in fact, I try to eliminate the desire to receive anything, any outcome whatsoever. If I approach a girl I'm attracted to, it's to go up there and let her know that I'm attracted to her in order to make her feel better about herself. That's my intention. It's not to make her like me. It's not to try and make her attracted to me. It's honestly just to make her know that her being alive brightened up my day, and that hopefully will make her feel better. Now, I'm not even attached to her feeling better because I can't control that. All I'm attached to is me giving her the opportunity to feel better about herself, giving her the opportunity to have a slightly better day because of what I'm saying. It's the same when I approach someone socially. So if I'm at my salsa class, for example, and I see a new person there, I approach them with the intent of, I'm going to make them feel welcome so that they don't feel so nervous about being here for the first time. You know, or I'm going to make them feel like they're part of the family. I'm trying to give when I approach someone. And honestly, once you can understand that concept and really internalize it, you'll realize it doesn't have any relationship to what you say. What you say doesn't matter. When you approach someone, like I'm going to give you these lines, so don't panic. But when you approach someone and you're coming from a place of abundance where you're trying to give to them, you're not going to need to have the great thing to say, the awesome line, the witty comeback, you know, the trying to impress them with your intelligence. You won't need to do any of that because they'll just be glad that you're there, right? And I mean this, and you know this if you think about being the other side of the fence. If someone approaches you and you get this sense that they're just there to, as a genuine curiosity about you, it's like a compliment that they're coming over, they think you're worthwhile enough to investigate, you don't feel bad about it. You don't judge them on what they're saying. You don't pull apart their body language or try and find out what's wrong with them. If anything, you find yourself struggling not to like them. And that's the kind of effect you can create by coming from a place of giving value rather than trying to take it. So, what to say? I'm going to give you your first line now. This is the low risk one for a social situation. Now, I've used this one before in articles. I use this still myself all the time because that way I don't need to think about how I'm going to start the conversation, and this line kind of guarantees that it's always going to be an authentic icebreaker or opener to a conversation. It goes like this. Hi, I don't think I've met you yet. What's your name? I'm Daniel. That's it. I don't think I've met you yet. Or you might say, hey, I don't think we've met each other yet. Doesn't really matter. The point is, all you're doing is breaking the ice, and you're saying it in a way that is completely authentic. You don't think you've met her yet, or him yet, or whatever. So therefore, it is authentic for you to say that. And you're coming from this place where it just sounds like you're genuinely curious about them as a person. You're like, there's a new person in my world. And that's the other thing you're kind of projecting. Let's say you're in a coffee shop, a place you don't actually own, and a place where you don't have any sort of authority. But you approach someone and say, hey, I don't think I've met you yet. My name's Dan. They're going to be going through in their mind, they're like, why does he think he should have met me by now? Does he own this place? What's going on? And the point is, you're not going to let them believe something that's not true, but it allows them to put down their defences for a little while. And the way that you've said it, especially if you're coming from a place of giving, they're going to think, this is a person that it's okay to talk to. And especially when you're approaching a stranger in the city or during the day, you need to really make sure you can reduce the defensiveness, because they're going to expect that you're either selling something or you're some sort of weirdo, right? And you need to eliminate that. The second line I'm going to give you, and this is the more higher risk one, and I've got to give credit where it's due. So this kind of approach, this direct approach, or super direct approach as it's sometimes known, is I've sort of gained this from a combination of lovesystems.com, I recommend checking them out, and daygame.com. Now these are both resources mostly for men on how to meet and attract a partner, but there's also, especially on lovesystems.com, there's actually some new material they've put on there on how to help women in the dating game. So check them out. I have no affiliation to them, they've helped me a lot, with their products and services. So this next approach is a bit more risque, and this is the kind of approach that you would use on someone that you find physically attractive, and probably during the day. Now during the day, people are rushing around, they're on their way to work or lunch, they're waiting for the bus, they're not socializing, they're not in the social state of mind, they don't actually expect to be approached. This is a good thing, because if you do it right, you're going to blow them out of the water, you're going to absolutely make their day, and it's really important, again, that you're not trying to guess anything. You're just going up them and you're saying, look, I'm going to make this person's day. Now, I've learned this approach for myself as a guy, but I believe it would definitely work for women as well. In fact, I'd love to hear some stories about how well this works for girls. So, let's say that you're stopping someone who's walking, which is pretty much the hardest type of approach. I'm not going to go into details of how you physically stop them, but put it this way, get in front of them, make direct eye contact, smile, and do something like this with your hands. It kind of gives them the impression they need to stop. So it should kind of look like this. We'll see how this looks. Imagine you're you walking this way, I'm me, about to stop you. Excuse me, hi. Look, I'm sorry to stop you like this. I just had to come and talk to you. I noticed you when you were walking past over there, and I just think you're absolutely gorgeous. What's your name? That was actually a pretty crappy version of it, but the point I'm trying to make here is that you're coming across very direct, and you're not hiding anything, and the fact is, you're giving them the opportunity to say yay or nay right off the bat. This is why it's such a high-risk approach, right? The point of this high-risk approach is, during the day, they're too busy to mess around. And if you come in there with some indirect, pretending you want something that you don't, bullshit, they're going to know that it's something dodgy, right? They're going to think that you're trying to sell them something or whatever. What a real person with, true confidence would do is just come and say what they really thought. So if I find someone who's really attractive, I come and stop them, I say hi, and I tell them why I stopped them. And that's the kind of process you want to follow. You've got to stop them and get their attention, smile, eye contact to sort of reduce the anxiety they're feeling about why they're being stopped by a stranger. Explain to them why you stopped them. So, I saw you walking past and I had to come and say hi. Or something like that, right? Or, I noticed you standing over there and I knew I'd just be kicking myself if I didn't come and meet you. And at this point they're going to be still reeling by the fact that they're being talked to by a stranger. So they're still not really registering what you're saying, but now they're starting to realize where you're going with this, and they're getting this kind of build up, like, oh my god, he's not even going to sell me something, I think I'm being hit on right now. And that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling to create. And then you just come out of nowhere and you hit them with this big compliment, right? And the compliment has to be genuine. And to say, I thought you looked like you had a great personality, that's total crap, right? You don't know anything about them. But you found them physically attractive, enough to want to go and meet them and learn some more. And that's what the kind of message is that you're getting across. It's shameless attraction. And the same would work for girls. I mean, if I had a girl come and stop me and say, look, I'm sorry to stop you, I had to come and say hi because I think you're so cute, that would make my day. You know what? I don't think that's ever happened to me before, and that would totally make my day. All the girls that I've approached in such a direct way, 99% of them, that was their reaction, at least that I made their day. Whether they find me attractive or not, it doesn't matter. I make their day, I walk away feeling like a superhero. Obviously the conversation after that has to go a bit further. In future videos I'm going to talk about some kind of strategies and skills that you can put to make sure you have a good, genuine, authentic, attractive conversation without having a script in your head or anything like that. It's just about following templates and having a conversation kind of with a structure so that you don't have to think about what to say next, and you can just be there in the moment and enjoy the flow and enjoy the connection you're having. So, in summary, approaching, you can do it anywhere, anytime. Obviously, a lot of you are going to feel very nervous about the prospect of approaching strangers. All I would say is that to get rid of that nervousness, really try to avoid wanting to get something from them. That's what creates the nervousness. Will I get my outcome or not? Will they like me or not? Are they going to reject me? If you're not trying to get anything from them, then there's nothing to be rejected by, I've approached girls and said, look, I think you're absolutely gorgeous, blah, blah, blah. I had to come and say hi. And they've been like, whatever, and walked away. But it hasn't affected me because I wasn't trying to get a good reaction from them. I was just trying to give them the opportunity to have a better day. I gave them that opportunity, they chose not to take it. That's their bad. And all I can say is, hey, I've got another approach under my belt. I'm slightly less nervous about doing it now because I've done one more. Now, as a last minute strategy to help you build up to this, because most of you will be going, I don't even know how to start, there's no way I could do what you just did, or whatever, and I used to be there too, is you can start small. Alright, so this is kind of practice, it's a little bit inauthentic. Think of it as training wheels that you're going to give up very quickly. But start by, say, going out for a day, spending an hour approaching people, asking for the time, asking for directions, asking for recommendations on shops to buy certain things, or what you could get for a gift for somebody, that kind of thing. Low risk approaches where someone's going to be nice to you most of the time. You're not trying to even carry the conversation on, you're just getting used to stopping people and talking to them. And you can find these opportunities anywhere. You're waiting in line for a coffee, turn back to the person and say, hey, what coffee would you recommend from this place? Is the mochaccino good? Or whatever. It's just an approach where you break the silence between you and a stranger. If you can do that 5 times a day for a couple of months, you'll be ready to move up to stopping someone and telling them that you find them attractive and that kind of thing. So get out there. You can watch this video a million times, it won't make a difference. What will make a difference is you going out today and making that first approach. Hands down, You can watch all the material in the world, you can read all the books in the world. Your social circle will not increase by even a single person until you're willing to take action. And that action comes from making your first approach. So get out there, find a stranger, stop them, open your mouth and let some words come out. That's all you can ask of yourself. If they react badly, so be it. You're not trying to get anything from them. That's not actually an effect on you. It's not even really good feedback for you. It's just telling you that they're not willing to talk to a stranger right there and then. So be it, right? So get out there, approach some people, and as this video series goes on, I'm going to give you some more details as to how you can create a big social circle full of quality people. Have a good day.